Hello, welcome back once again. In today's video, I'll be highlighting the importance of giving feedback the right way. So let us first understand the importance of feedback. Feedback is important in order to give an honest assessment of the sender's work and which will definitely help him to improve his work and thereby it will have an impact on his overall performance and which will lead to job satisfaction of the sender. So whether working in an organization or in an education institution, it is important to consider all these aspects while giving feedback. So having understood the importance of feedback, let us now take into consideration the six important points that one should keep in mind while giving feedback. The first is to identify the purpose of feedback. Second is to understand the difference between feedback and criticism. Third, the necessity to highlight the positive aspects in feedback. Fourth, the difference between objective and subjective feedback. The fifth is to focus on the work rather than the person while giving feedback. And the sixth is the necessity to indicate negative points in a positive way. So, having understood the six important points, let us now move into the details in order to get a better understanding of these points. So, first is the purpose of feedback. So, before we give feedback, it is necessary to identify what is the purpose of feedback. That is, why are we giving feedback? So, we might be asked by someone to give feedback in order to hurt the sentiments of the person, in order to deliberately write negative things about the person. So, in this way, we are not only sending wrong information about the person, incorrect information about the person, we are also trying to hurt the sentiments of the person. And not only that, we are trying to lower the self confidence of the person. Whereas, if we identify the feedback to be given in so that we are motivating the person, then we are obviously encouraging him to perform better. We are highlighting the positive aspects of the person, and we are also trying to give factual evidences of what we have highlighted. So, having said this, let us now move on to the second point, that is, feedback is different from criticism. So one should understand that feedback is to improve the end result. So therefore, feedback is given at regular intervals and not once in a year or once in a semester. So in an education institution nowadays, we have the semester system whereby the feedback could be given at the end of the semester. But that should not be the case. Feedback should be given in a regular intervals in the semester so that the person gets a proper understanding of his work or the work he has contributed to in the entire semester. So the end result should be improved, and that should be the purpose of feedback, so that you can keep the sender motivated in his work, and at the same time, you always have a positive note, when you're giving the feedback. So feedback is based on facts, whereas criticism is to highlight the shortcomings of the person. So if you have to highlight the shortcomings, we need not to give at regular intervals. We can give it once in a year. So, and highlighting the shortcomings becomes it is based on opinion, it is based on your emotions, and so therefore it is definitely overshadowed with biasness, with prejudices, and of course with lot of emotions, the emotion of anger, the emotion of distrust, and so on. So it lowers the self-confidence of the person, and therefore it becomes judgmental in nature. So if we judge the other person, we should understand that there is someone judging us. Moreover, if we point a finger at someone saying that the person is not good, because saying the person not good means we are being very subjective. So I would say the criticism is being very subjective. On what basis you are saying not good? We have to take that into consideration. So nobody can be perfect, or nobody can be good or bad. There are shades of gray, and on that basis, we should first of all try to look at the work of the person, highlight the positive aspects of the person. There'll be definitely some positive aspects of the person rather than everything being negative about the person. So, in this way, the feedback should be given. So, having understood this, let us now move on to the third point, that is, we should highlight the positive aspects. So, whenever we are giving feedback, we should concentrate on acknowledging the efforts taken by the sender while doing the particular delivering a lecture or giving a presentation or giving a public speech or even trying to complete a project that is assigned by superiors. So acknowledging is very important, and moreover, we should also appreciate the person, for the amount of work that he has completed or the amount of work that he has done. So that is how we encourage and motivate the person to work better. So when we do all this, we are actually trying to give factual information on future improvements. So even if there is some shortcoming, we should highlight, from the by pointing out to factual information and then trying to suggest future improvements. This will help the person, in order to get a solution from a person in an objective way, and thereby he can work on the solution. So, having said this, I would say that the fourth point is understanding that feedback should be objective and not subjective. So, in an objective feedback, we focus on facts and we also provide evidence of whatever factual information we have collected, and we explain the reason why we have given that particular feedback, and we also provide solution. Whereas in a subjective feedback, we are vague, we are not very sure as to why we are giving this particular feedback, and the feedback becomes very general. At the same time, it is based on opinion and it is could be biased. This biasness could be because somebody has said something about this person, and so therefore you tend to look at the person or observe the person from that perspective, forgetting that you have to observe his work and not the person himself or herself. So, having understood this, let us now move on to the next topic, that is, feedback should help us to focus on work of the person rather than looking at the person and trying to be judgmental about it. So, when you're focusing on the work, we appreciate his work, and this is the first thing that we should understand. Always talk about the positive aspects. Even when we are writing a letter, it is important that we first talk about the positive aspects, that is, give importance to the positive news or the positive aspects, or the information that should be shared with the receiver. And we should acknowledge the efforts of the other person, at the same time talk of aspects that require further work and suggest solution. The moment you suggest solution, you are actually offering to help that person, and when you help that person, you're focusing on his work and trying to help him out from the difficulty that he or she is facing, rather than just or point blank telling him that you have not been able to do this work, so therefore you're useless, so therefore you will not get an increment, you will not get a raise in a salary, and so on. And it's like punishing the person if you do that such kind of thing. Rather, if you help the person to overcome his shortcomings or overcome the problems that he is facing, then obviously you can help the person to work better, and he himself can start reflecting on his work the next time, and he can try to improve himself in the process. So this is very important. So most of the time, when we give feedback, we give importance to the person, and therefore this does not help to motivate the person. So having said this, it is important to therefore to give timely feedback to the person. So as teachers, we understand that when we give timely feedback to the students, they can improve on their work. They can work further and try to make necessary changes in the work process. So, having said this, let us now move on to the sixth point, that is negative aspects, of a person should be highlighted in a positive way. So, for example, if an employee in an organization is missing deadlines and is not able to, this is having an impact on his team members. If his superior highlights the feedback or gives a feedback to him in this manner, you're missing deadlines, and this is affecting the team and the organization. And this is actually trying to understand or trying to tell the person that you are at fault, and therefore, because of your shortcomings, it is affecting the team and the organization. But whereas the same feedback, if it is put in this manner, you seem to be having problems with time management lately. Is there anything I can do to help? In this way, you are not directly telling that you are responsible for missing the deadlines. You're not accusing that person, or you're not trying to blame it on that person. The person is not at fault. You are trying to say that there's some external factors that is leading to these problems. You seem to be having problems with time management lately. So you have noticed that lately he's having problems with time management. Earlier, there was no problem. So therefore, you're trying to say that that there is some external reason why he's facing this problem. So is there anything I can do to help? So you're offering help. And so this way you are not only pointing out his problem, but you're also trying to give a solution to his problem. And this solution will definitely help him to come out with his problem or share his problem with his superior. And not only that, he will be motivated to discuss the problem, and therefore both of them can find solution to his problem. And this way you can work towards a situation where the atmosphere is such that you can reflect on your mistakes or reflect on your shortcomings and try to overcome all these problems. So this way a feedback should be given. So having understood this, I would like to thank all of you for your patient listening.